Thanks for making it Sunrise. Today in Tech Time, we're hanging out with three awesome Jamaican students who recently interned at Microsoft, where they tackled real-world challenges and they teamed up with top tech pros and soaked up a whole new tech culture. We'll hear about their experience and how Microsoft is actually boosting local talent and what we can expect from the upcoming Microsoft Day, which is slated for October 2 to 4. Welcome, Daryl Brown and Shawn Grant of the University of Technology, and representing UWI Mona, Nathan Smith. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, you two, they're no strangers here. This is your first time. But let's jump in. Tell us the last time we spoke, you know, how the Microsoft experience went, because you stood out clearly amongst the other hackathon people. And then what happened when you went off?
Right. So after the hackathon, there's a team called the Project Blue Mountain team.
Yes, I
They're
remember that.
a group of Microsoft employees. They're helping to digitally transform Jamaica. So they've created the opportunity where we can now apply for the internships at Microsoft. So after the hackathon, we then applied. We're shortlisted for the interview. Then clearly we passed our interviews and went to their headquarters in Washington.
What were some of the things that you actually got to do, like on a daily basis? So, like, you get up and you go to work. What did you do?
Well, since we're in a new city, of course we went to work.
Which city again?
It was we stayed in Seattle, some of us, but the headquarters is in Redmond. Seattle metro area is two main cities.
Got you.
So we'd go to work, you know, do work, code, meet a lot of people, exchange cultures with, you know, people from all over. After work, we'd probably explore the city a bit with our friends. It's a group of us, so we weren't alone. A group of us from the Caribbean, we'd go out frequently and just explore a lot. So
nice, nice. You, man, talk to me. what was your experience like? You didn't know them man before, or?
I did not know these guys before.
Okay.
It was a great experience. I worked on a real life project that had a lot of value to the team that I was on with the servicing and delivery. But outside of work, obviously, I hung out with my Caribbean intern friends as well. It was around 14 from Jamaica, and the wider Caribbean, it's close to 20. So it's a large cohort. I think this is the first time that there were so many Caribbean people at Microsoft this summer.
I'm going to ask you a question. And the future of UWI and the UE versus UTECH rivalry depends on it, because they always say the UTECH people are more practical and da-da-da-da-da. You know, that whole stereotype.
Right.
How ready were you for this in a very practical sense, like to do the things that you do every day? Like, was it difficult to like apply the theory and stuff that UE teaches you?
I mean, I think UE provided me a good background to kind of catapult myself. I think everyone from UTECH and UE had to do work outside of school. But I think both institutions provided.
And you held your own, isn't that so?
I'd like to think so.
Look at that. Look at that. Very practical. Very mindful. Look at that. Shawn, so tell me now, how did working with the top experts and people like in Microsoft higher-ups, how did that, you know, shape your whole framework, you know, to learn and then come back to UTECH to actually apply yourself?
Okay, so the experience was very different than like working at tech companies in Jamaica, because you're working with people from different states, different countries, and the level of software we're all software engineers,
okay,
by the way. And so the level of complexity is a lot higher. So it took a lot of time and working and collaborating with team members to really get up to speed and be able to contribute.
And from a networking perspective, Daryn, how were you able to make what you think are going to be long-term professional connections?
Yes. So at Microsoft, we had a lot of intern events, and we would get to network with other interns, and they encourage communication across the orgs a lot. So you can talk to, got to speak with the president of my org. I got to speak with the CEO of Xbox. I got to meet a lot of people. So, and I still am in touch with a few interns from that time. So
Nice.
I think those are lifelong relationships that I've built. Yeah.
All right. So Nathan, you're looking forward. There's the whole Microsoft Day, that kind of a thing. Tell us, what are some things that you're looking forward in relation to that?
Yeah, so for Microsoft Day, all three of us are going to be speaking on an intern panel, so that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
But there's also like some AI and Copilot workshops that I think should be really interesting, especially since we're in the age of AI. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most,
Shawn,
the AI
what about you?
workshops.
There's also another hackathon going on this year. So that's something to look forward to. You might have to interview those winners as well. Me and Daryn also entered, so we'll see.
And we won.
All right. So finally, I'm going to say, you know how interns go away and they come back. When I was in Seattle last year, when I was in Seattle. So tell me one thing very quickly, just one thing that's now different about how you apply yourself since the internship.
Okay, so I really value collaboration a lot more because the complexity of Microsoft kind of forced me to not say, oh, I can just go through this entire code base myself and understand it. It's important to communicate with your team members to be able to understand quickly what actually is going on and how to implement that more quickly and efficiently. Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah, so one thing that I learned is that the importance of asking questions, it can't be understated. If you don't understand something, you gotta ask something. So it kind of offers collaboration, but if you don't understand what's going on at work, then you have to ask someone or else you're gonna be struggling.
Finally.
All right, so I'll piggyback off of what these two just said. It's important to figure out how to learn. So if you're working on like a new project, you have to, I guess, figure out ways to quickly onboard and collaborate with your team, right? So don't just try and do things on your own, just ask questions up front.
I like that. That's where we're going to have to leave it. Thank you very much, gentlemen, because these are the software engineers of the future, and they are very much Jamaican. Thank you very much, Darryl Brown, Shawn Grant, and Nathan Smith, the tech movers and shakers of the future. They are, speaking of moving and shaking, we're going to be talking about the Pink Run. We'll be right back.